And recording, okay. Welcome, Captain Daniel, to Flight Experience Adelaide. We are sitting in the cockpit of the 737-800. All the engines are on, the systems are loaded, and we actually are ready for the takeoff. Before we get going, we'll go through some of the instruments and flight controls, so just get yourself a little bit more familiar with the aircraft before we get there. Now, you've chosen, the 5-minute option, so we'll just quickly go through it, and then we can explain a bit more as we get into the flight. So, starting with the control in front of you, this is called the yoke. It's like a steering wheel in a car. We can turn it left, we can turn it right. Difference is if we want to descend or go towards the ground, we can push it forward. If we want to ascend or go climb and go towards the sky, we can pull it back. There is a fair bit of strength required in it, and you'll feel that when we do the takeoff rotation. We only use this in flight. We don't use it on the ground. When we're on the ground, we steer with a couple of other things. One, just to the left of you, is the tiller. And again, just like a steering wheel in a car, that will control the nose wheel of the aircraft. And the nose wheel's positioned a little bit behind us, so it'll be like sort of driving a big truck. So the forward movement is to the right, backward is to the left. Yep. It is quite sensitive because it is pretty much a full left and right lock of the wheel. So just small movements of the tiller is all that's required to steer the aircraft. And we'll have a little bit of a go at that when we do taxi onto the runway. Once we get onto the runway and we start doing our takeoff roll, we actually transfer our steering to the pedals. Yep. Now the pedals controls the rudder at the back of the aircraft, and rudder's just like a rudder on a boat. If we turn it to the left, the aircraft will turn left. If we turn it to the right, the aircraft will turn right. We'll use the rudder on the takeoff and landing rolls on the runway. But when we're in the air, another system known as yaw damp will take over and control all of our rudder movements automatically for us. So it makes it nice and easy for us.
I was going to turn this thing off.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I didn't know it was ringing. Stop it.
Yeah.
I thought I muted it.
I'll make sure mine is off too. Good point there. Let's just make sure they're... Yeah, that's good. Beautiful. So now, on the rudder pedals, if you lift your heels off the ground and almost the knees up to the console, and to push your toes forward, you'll feel there's a couple of other pedals on the top there. They're the brakes. Differential brakes. They will. The brakes are on the rear wheels, and obviously the left wheels and the right wheels. So when you do apply your brakes, make sure you apply them evenly together. Otherwise, you can end up sort of steering the aircraft with the brakes as well. All right, but for takeoff, we'll make sure our heels are on the ground, and our so we don't accidentally put our brakes on in flight. Okay, so moving over to the middle section here, it's our thrust quadrant, and we have two engines on the aircraft, engine 1 and engine 2, like the accelerator on a car. If we push it forward, we're going to go faster. If we pull it back, we're going to go slower. This will move automatically in flight by our auto thrust. And when we go to take off, we'll just monitor that and adjust it as required. In front of the thrust is the reverse thrust, and we'll use this on landing, and it helps us to slow down. So it actually throws the air forward, so that it actually helps the aircraft slow down. To engage it, we move it to the centre, and then to adjust the thrust, basically it's full thrusters all the way up, back to the centre to disengage, and then all the way forward to off. We're going to use that on the second landing. We won't use it on the first landing, and I'll explain a little bit more as we come around to do that. Over here is our flaps lever. You may have sitting on a aircraft next to the wings, and when it comes into land, it seems like the wings are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. They're swelling. That's the flaps coming out. Obviously, as the flaps come out, it gives the aircraft more lift at lower speeds. And we're going to take off with flaps 5. To select the flaps as we go, I'll be calling out some flap positions. So all you do is lift the flap up and drop it into that position. So for that's 1, that's 0. There's 2 gates on the flap positions between 0 and 40. One at 1 and one at 15. To get through the gate, you simply just drop it down and pull it up the other side. Just try and select flap 5 for me, just to get a feel of that for me. Beautiful, spot on. Fantastic. Speed brake, again, you may see when the aircraft lands, these big gates pop up on the top of the wings. That's the speed brakes. That also helps the aircraft slow down. To engage that, we simply lift the lever up, put it into position, That's now armed. It tells us on the console speed brake's armed. When the aircraft lands, all wheels on the ground, that will automatically deploy and the speed brakes will pop up. If it doesn't, we can manually override it as well. But for takeoff, we'll make sure that is stowed away and the speed brake arm light is being extinguished. Yep. Part brake over here, most complex piece of the aircraft. Basically, part brake's on, part brake's off. All right, and over here we have our primary flight display. This is a picture of what we see outside. The blue represents the sky, brown represents the ground. That black dot in the little middle is representing the aircraft's nose. Those black lines there represents the aircraft wings. This scale in the middle is in 2.5 degree increments. When we go to take off, I'll ask you to raise the nose up to 15 degrees. And so there's 2.5, 5, 7.5, 10, 12.5, and there's 15, second line above the 10. So when we get the nose up to 15 degrees, by pulling back on the yoke, we'll then, to hold it at 15, we'll actually release the yoke to hold it there. If we keep pulling back, it'll just keep climbing up. When we go to turn, we're going to use what they call as the angle of bank. And if we do a right turn, this triangle here will actually move to the left. We're going to go for about a 25 degrees angle. So 25 is, these are in 10 degrees increments, 10, 20 and 30. 25 is just in between the long and the short. Okay, if we do a left-hand turn, this will move to the right. It'll make more sense when we get in there. Airspeed is over here. Airspeed's measured in knots. That's sitting at 45. That will increase once the aircraft gets above 45 knots. And that's our altitude that we're going to climb to today. We've set that as 3,000 for a circuit. And that's our current altitude of the airfield. And when we start to fly and start to climb, we'll see a rate of climb up this scale here, which we'll point out when we start coming in for our descent as well. Over here is our map display. Quite simply, that's the direction we're currently facing, 134 degrees. That there is the runway we're sitting beside, runway 23 in Adelaide, and these are imaginary extended centre line of the runway, which we can use to help ourselves line up. The pink bug at the here is the heading bug, and that is we usually use as a command line. At the moment, we've actually got a bit of a problem with the heading bug using it, so we'll just have to try to avoid using that one at the moment. So, but usually we'll set that on the heading that we'll follow. Over here is our engine instruments, engine 1 and engine 2. It's our N1 turbine, the compressor ratings, and they're at 20%, so that's sitting on idle at 20%. When we go to take off, we'll increase that up to about 40%. These are in multiples of 10. And then when we go for full thrust, it'll go all the way up to the takeoff thrust. Our instruments such as exhaust gas temperature, fuel flow. Our fuel is 3 tanks, a centre tank and 1 tank in each wing, saying we've got just under 4 tonnes in each wing and just under half a tonne in the centre. Our secondary instruments gives us our N2 turbine positions, the fuel flow, oil pressure, oil temps, oil quantity and vibration. Any of those figures are in the red. We know there's an issue with the aircraft and we'll shut it down. Landing gear lever is here. To operate that, we pull it out and up. To retract the gear, to put the gear down, we'll pull it out and put it down to lower the gear. Flight management computer, everything that we've set up in the aircraft is done through the flight management computer. We've got a radio pedestal which gives us our radios to talk to ATC and nav radios to navigate to our devices on the ground. Transponder, so ATC can see us on their radar, gives us an idea of their our sort of speed and height. Overhead panel, quite simply broken down into the you have your fuel pump section, your electrical, you've got your window heat and hydraulics, the pneumatic systems, lights, engine starts, and runway and taxi lights. We'll go through and use a little bit of that when we start flying. All right, you ready to go?
Yep.
All right, fantastic. All right, so it's going to set the takeoff thrust. Okay. All right, now to enter the runway, we're going to just release the park brake, lift our thrust up to 30%. So if you just push those forward, you'll see there's a prediction line. There we go. So hold that at 30. That's it. So it'll come up. The aircraft will start rolling. Hand on the tiller.
Is that just still going up, or do I have to
Yep,
bring
no,
it
that's
down?
fine.
Okay.
That's fine. We're just starting to roll now. Just make sure the park brake is disconnected. There we go. All right, hand on the tiller. Okay, so remember, very small movements. And what we're going to do, when we get to the centre line, when we feel like the centre line's below our bottoms, you're going to go full forward. There we go. And that's it. I'm going to say the nose wheel's a little bit behind us. So there we go, and roll out onto these. There we go. Fantastic. Beautiful. There we go. We get this little bit of a parallax error as well, so it feels like you're a bit lopsided. You've got the centre line through about that point, which is about equivalent to your right leg. I've got the same perspective here. All right, so that's the sort of perspective I need you to keep when we're taking off and when we come in for that landing, when we're lining up with the runway. And again, it'll make more sense as we start moving. All right, so for takeoff, what we're going to do is we're going to lift these up to 40% now. So bring them up to the 40%. We're going to engage the auto thrust, which is that one there. And we can see that's engaged by the indicator on the screen will come on. These will advance automatically. Your job then will be to be both hands on the yoke and just gently steer us on the centre line with the pedals. Just keep us, just small movements. You can probably feel my feet moving at the moment. So just using small movements like that and just keeping us on the centre line. You'll find you won't have to really move too much if the aircraft's sort of travelling in a straight direction. All right, so and then I'll call out some speeds. When you hear me call V1 rotate, you'll pull back the yoke. So in about 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, get it back. Needs a bit of strength. And get that nose up to that 15 degrees, all right? When you get it to 15 degrees, just release it to hold it there. We'll get to 1,000 feet. We'll lower the nose to 10 degrees and let our speed increase and start retracting some of the flaps. All right, but I'll take you through step by step. All right, let's bring this up to 40. Bit more. That's it. So if you use that prediction line, that'll settle. Go, just release the park brake. Go, both hands on the. That's it, and engaged it. Okay, so we can see it's engaged. Thrust is advancing. So, and steer us on the just using the pedals again. Just small movements. Yeah, that's it. Spot on. All right.
I'm hitting the pedals, all right.
Okay.
That's. Okay, I'm just trying to move the pedals, now they're not moving.
I just put your feet a bit higher. Can you feel the pedals?
Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go.
Got them. 90 knots. And good, excellent. And there's V1 rotate, so start pulling back 3 seconds. 1 to get it back to you. Yeah, that's it, a bit more. So you feel a bit of a pressure there. Get it up to about 15 degrees, that's it. Now hold it there. That's it, well done. I'll get rid of that flight director because it can be a bit confusing. Awesome. Fantastic. What I'll do is, while you're holding it there, do the landing gear, so out and up. That's it. And watch you keep it up to 15 degrees, don't let your nose drop.
Oh, yeah, so it drops,
Yep. Okay, keep it at 10 degrees now, that's it. Excellent. We'll put some flaps away now, so I'll set the cruise speed. All right, so flaps 1. There we go. Keep it at 10 degrees. Keep that climb going. Excellent. There we go. Speed starting to increase again. Over 180, which is good. We'll go to flaps 0 now. Excellent. Well done. We're in the air. Okay, so that's all looking good. So we've got a climb going. And you can see now that scale on here saying that we're climbing at about 2,000 feet a minute. You can see our altitude's increasing here. We've set our altitude to 3,000. We're going to get to that and then to lower the nose to about 2.5 degrees. So the first line to hold it at 3,000, but wait till we get there. Okay, it's 2.5, 2,600. Almost there. Here comes 3,000, 2,900. Push that nose down to 2.5 degrees. There we go, down to 2.5 all the way. There we go. Beautiful. Now hold it there. Fantastic. Well done. Okay, I'll do a bit of a clean up as well. So for us. Okay, well after takeoff, engine bleeds are on, packs are on, landing gears up, no lights, and flaps are up, no lights. All right. Okay, we're in the air. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make a right-hand turn. We're going to looking for that angle of bank around what I was saying before, about 25 degrees. So when you start a right turn, that arrow, or the triangle will move to the left, and we'll go for about an angle of 25 degrees. As we do start to turn, the nose is going to drop. You can see how it's dropping a little bit at the moment. We're going to have to raise the nose up above the 5, between maybe 5 and 7.5 to stop it from descending. As soon as we go into a turn, there's obviously more weight in the aircraft, and it tries to push it back down to the earth. All right, give it a try. So start turning. And as you start turning, pull back a little bit. That's it. And there we go. It's 25 degrees there. Fantastic. Well done. Pull back a bit more. And I'll give you a bit of trim there just to help you take a bit of pressure off. Got a fair bit of back pressure on that. Because I can... Yeah. So keep turning. So see that there? So the way that you're looking for around about 25 degrees. So in between those two. I'm going to say it's like rubbing your head and patting your belly and... and just keep that nose up. So about 7.5 degrees. See how it's the altitude's dropping. Beautiful. They're doing well. So we were turning on to what they class as the crosswind leg of the circuit, and we're just going to continue to turn around until we turn on to the downwind. So downwind is the reciprocal of the way we just took off. What we'll do is we'll just try to get ourselves back up to 3,000 by raising up to about 7.5 degrees while you're also in the turn. So the third line, yep. And you'll see our altitude will start to increase again. We've got a rate of climb of 1,400 feet, which is good. All right, now while you're still climbing, straight level the wings to the left. So level the wings, that's it, and push forward to stay at 3,000. Well done. I can see a bit more, and get it down to about 2.5 degrees to stop the climb. So that'll keep us straight and level then. Wonderful. Yeah, getting a good hang of that. Starting to get the feel of that.
Yep.
Yeah, no, you're doing well. All right, so what we're at, so we're on the downwind leg here. So that's where we took off from, just over here. And we flew up, we climbed 3,000. We did a right turn onto crosswind and continued turn, and we're heading downwind now. So that's us there. There's the airport there. So you probably see it over there, just over to the 1 o'clock position there. All right, so how you going? All right? You seem to be handling it quite well, so that's good. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a touch and go when we get to the airfield. So we'll continue downwind, we'll turn on to a base, and then turn on a final, come in for approach. We'll do a touch and go, which means we'll come in, we'll land, and we'll literally go full thrust and take off again. Okay? Let's get you over there. And before we do that, we'll descend down to 2,000 feet. So to do that, set your altitude here. As you wind that back down to 2,000, that's it. Now, decrease our speed to 200 knots, so 200. Excellent. And to start the descent, we literally push forward to the wings are resting just on the line. Okay, stop there. So it looks like you're sort of sitting on a wall with your legs hanging over. And that'll give us roughly, you'll see down here, we're looking for about 1,000 foot rate of descent. So to decrease that, so just pull back a little bit, you'll see that decreases a little bit. We're looking for about 1,000. There we go. Perfect. Excellent. Beautiful. Well done. And you can see, of course, our altitude's dropping, 2,600. We're going down to 2,000. And we just gently do that as we go down. Now we get a bit of a warning light come up, which means our centre tanks are empty. So we're going to switch off our centre pump. So those two there just out and up. That's it. Beautiful. Excellent. So when we come down to about 2,100, we'll just gently start levelling it out. Okay, so pull back to level out. There we go. As the aircraft starts to slow, you'll find that the pitch of the aircraft, or the nose, will need to be up a little bit higher to counteract the slower speed. So where we're on 2.5 degrees to keep straight and level, we may need to go up to about 5 degrees. So, yeah, doing well.
Yep.
Okay, we're in flaps speed now, so we're going to go flaps 1. Yep, it's going to help us slow down as well. As the aircraft does get a bit slower and a bit more flaps start coming out, it gets a bit sluggier and a bit to manoeuvre. So you feel that, you know, sometimes bigger movements may be necessary. That's good. Which simulator did you use? Which did you use, P3D or the X-Plane or?
I didn't use it. I just sat in there and watched the actual parts train.
Yep.
That was the full motion one.
Yeah.
So I watched them do touch and go and all that stuff.
Yep. So
they were brand new and they crashed it. It was interesting, but I wasn't allowed to use it because I wasn't. You know, I'm not a pilot. I was just observing how it works.
What about your own one? Like you said, you've used Home Simulator.
Like just the real basic stuff.
Yeah,
it's all fighter jet, you know.
Okay.
There's none of. It's just
some
basic up, down, left, right. There's no paying attention to speed. It's just shoot the enemies down.
Aim and kill.
Yeah.
But sometimes they're the most fun. They're the more fun ones. We don't have to think about it. But no, some good ones out. Microsoft just released their MSFS, which is pretty good little simulator. All right, we're going to go to flats 5, but before we do that, we're going to lower our speed to 160. Excellent, and we'll start a turn onto base. So do a right-hand turn, and so with this one, you do need to probably go up to about almost 7.5 degrees nose up because we are slower. You can see it's starting to trying to descend now. So get that nose up. So more back pressure. That's it. There we go. That's good. I'll give you a bit of trim to help you hold that there. Yeah, there we go. Excellent. Doing well. That's good. All right. So when we'll keep the turn going all the way around. So we'll try to get about 25 degrees. There we go. That's it. And keep that back pressure up so we don't lose our 2,000 feet. So you almost probably need to get up to close to nearly 10 degrees nose up now. There we go, good. Yeah, like I said, bit sluggier now, isn't it? Yeah. I'll give you a bit more trim. All right. Okay. And we're going to go flats 5 as well, so while you're holding that, I'll give you a hand just to hold that. Yeah. And usually this is two-pilot sort of activity, but I'm getting you to do as much as I can. All right, now level out. So we're coming around. That's it. Level out. Level those wings. Beautiful. Fantastic. Nicely done. Okay, and just keep the nose up so we don't lose any more altitude. That's good. So we're on what we call the final now. So there's the runway ahead of us. We actually look out. We can probably see it. It's just over to the left of us. So we've just come over to the left of it a little bit, but with this right, we're heading back into the to intercept it, which is good. All right. Yeah, good. That's good. All right. So going well. So remember how I said about keeping that line up
Yeah.
in the runway to the in that point there into your right leg,
Yep.
and so I've got the same perspective here, so that's actually looking quite good. Try not to descend just yet. It is tempting to push the nose forward. Okay, we're coming out the top of the descent now, so landing gear out and down. Okay, so we're going to go down, so push the nose forward, and we're going to go 15 flaps. And speed we're going to reduce to 150. That's it. Excellent. All right. Now keep that perspective. One good trick is to actually point at the... Can you see the start of the runway where the lights are? If you actually point at that and that stays in the same position on your screen, you'll know that you're heading straight towards it. If you see it start to go underneath you, you're going to overshoot it. If it sees it start to increase above the screen, you're going to undershoot it. So if it keeps in the same position, which is looking bloody good, well done. Okay,
1,000.
So 1,000, cool. We're going to go 30 flaps and 143 speed. That's it. Now, when flaps 30 comes out, it wants to balloon you, so get ready to push forward. Here it comes. So push forward, fair bit. Get that perspective back on the screen. There we go. See, now those lights on the left-hand side, they're PAPI lights or precision approach path indicators. If they're all white, saying we're a little bit high. If they're all red, we're saying we're too low. We need 2 white, 2 red. So just carefully don't descend too quickly. Yep. And just come over to the left a little bit as well. There we go. So we've got 1 redding now. Come over to the right a little bit. That's it. Level the wings. That's it. Level those wings and
500.
Come over to the left a little bit more. Small movements. Keep the nose down. Yeah, it wants to balloon us. Keep it down. Keep it down. Push it down. Get it down. Yeah, it's just trying to counteract. Hands on the thrust lever. When you hear 100, I want you to disengage by pressing the right thumb on that button. Disengages the auto thrust. And then at 50, we're going to pull all the way back to idle. Once the aircraft, come over to the left a little bit. Yes. Once the aircraft settles, we're going to go full thrust. Keep the nose down.
100.
There it is, 100. Disengage. All right. Keep it coming down.
50.
All the way through idle. That's it.
30.
Hold it. Hold it.
20. 10.
Beautiful. All right. Go full thrust. Now full thrust.
Oh,
full,
sorry.
Yeah, full thrust. And steer with your feet now. Let go of the yoke. Don't steer with the yoke. And you can see the delay in the engines spooling up. All right, so V1 rotate, so gently pull up again, get that back up to what do you call it, to 15 degrees, is what I'm trying to say. And that's it, we'll do our climb out. Well done. Okay, doing really well there. I'll set our speed back up, so 230 knots is now set again. Okay, we're past 1,000, so we'll lower the nose to 10 degrees, and we'll go flaps 1. Get that. Excellent. Fantastic. Speed's increasing still on the climb. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a bit of a climbing turn. So while we're still climbing, if you can turn to the right again. That's it. That's it. Hold it at 25. Coming up to 3,000. So while you're still holding the climb, push the nose forward to maintain 3,000. So we're going to push the nose forward about 5 degrees and try not to overbank. That's it. Now get that nose up to about 5 degrees, otherwise we'll descend below the 3,000. We're just going to make it a tighter circuit. There we go. So keep that turn. That's it. Hold that. Beautiful. That's holding really well. And we'll go flap 0 as well now. Put that all away. Excellent. And doing well. How was that?
Yep, good.
A lot happens. All right, we'll do the same thing again this time, but we'll do it as a full stop landing. So we will use some of our all of our braking power, and we'll go through that in a second once you get around onto downwind. I'll just do a quick clean up for us. Okay, engines are off, packed, landing gear and flaps. Done. Excellent. So level out now. So level the wings to the left. And we're turning straight onto downwind. Fantastic. Awesome. Okay, try not to lose that altitude just yet. We'll try to keep that at 3,000. We will descend in a second though, so it's not too crucial. Okay, so full stop landing. We're going to come in. We're going to pretty much do what we did before. So you hear the 100 call. It'll be disengage auto thrust. At the 50 call, we'll pull all the way back to idle. Aircraft will come in land. The speed brake will automatically deploy once it's on the ground. Auto brakes will automatically activate. And once all wheels are on the ground, we'll do full reverse thrust. All right. Okay, so we'll get a bit of a setup for the landing. So if you want to set the auto brakes up to number 2 for me there. Yep, so auto brakes, as the name implies, will apply our main brakes automatically, and the level of braking that's required depends on the runway and its conditions, whether it's wet, whether it's long, short, whatever. So Adelaide's a fairly long runway and dry, so we can just use a sort of a just a standard type of braking power, so we don't wear out our brakes. We're also going to arm the speed brake. Now to do that, we just simply lift it up and drop it in a position. It tells us up there that the speed brake has been armed now, so it's ready to go. And we'll also put our landing lights on, so put those on now. So 4 of those down. Excellent. And what we'll do is I'll set the engines up to continuous firing so that we don't have any flame outs on the way down. Excellent. So start our descent. So like we did before, 2,000 if you can. 200 knots. Drop the nose so that we get that 1,000 foot rate of descent. Look, not too much, it's just very, very small. That's it, you got it. Looking good. Okay, so level out at 2,000, so lift the nose up, start letting our speed drop, and when the speed gets around about 200 knots, we're going to put out flaps 1, all right? So get up to about 5 degrees, nose up now. I'll give you a bit of trim back there, help you hold it there. Excellent. Alright, go flaps 1. And to make a right turn onto base. And we'll probably say need about 7.5 degrees nose up to counteract the weight. Excellent. Doing well.
Well, we're doing
Beautiful. Keep that nose up just so we don't lose that 2,000. We'll try and keep 2,000. Okay, level the wings out now. Beautiful, spot on the... Excellent. That's good, excellent. We're going to start slowing down a little bit more, so 180 knots. We're going to go 5 flaps 5. Excellent. Keep that nose up, don't let us descend just yet. And you're going to use that as your as your sort of guide. Otherwise, if you can see the runway, just try to line it up at that point. So visually you can do it that way, or by instruments you can do it that way as well. You can always sort of check each one off, see what it's like on the instrument, see what it's like outside. Obviously, if we were fully in cloud and we couldn't see the runway, we'd have to rely completely on that instrument. But we do have the beauty of being able to see the runway, so we can also line up visually. And the beauty of the instruments, it can sort of confirm what we're seeing outside. Okay, keep those wings level. That's spot on there. So, there we go, good on. Alright, almost close to top of descent, so slow our speed down to 150. We're going to put our landing gear out and down, just keep those wings level though. And landing gear out and down. Flaps 15. And gently lower the nose and get that perspective on the screen like we had before. That's looking really good. So I can see 2 white, 2 red lights, which is a nice profile. Okay, level the wings now. That's it, just small movements. If you feel like the aircraft is a bit off, if it's a bit leaning to the left, it'll actually, what it'll be doing is turning to the left. If it leans a little bit right, it'll turn to the right. If it's nice and level, it'll go straight. It's doing really well. So currently we're passing 1,300 feet. When we get to 1,000, we'll put the flaps 30 out and reduce our speed to 143 knots. Come over the left a little bit. Go flaps 30. 143. Remember, get ready for that balloon. Push the nose forward. Don't let it throw us off profile. Push forward, push forward. There we go. Keep pushing forward. There we go, that's it. Because what's happening is the aircraft's now sort of got a little bit more nose forward attitude. And so you can see better out of the windscreen too, even though it's still coming down on the same profile. Alright, 2 red, 2 white, see those? That's a nice approach.
The angle seems off, but...
Yeah, that's what I say, if you just keep that lining there, and if you do turn a little bit to the right, it'll probably put you straight. And if you're unsure, just double check it with your instruments. Okay, level those wings to the left, otherwise you'll turn to the right. Beautiful. Hands on the thrust, be ready for the call. Keep it coming down though. Come over the left a little bit, just a very small amount.
100.
There's the 100. Okay.
50.
Okay.
30.
A little
20,
bit of back pressure.
10.
A little bit of back pressure. All right, and full reverse. That's it. Well done. Speed. You saw the speed brake deployed. Auto brakes are on. We'll let it all come to a. When I call 60 knots, you can release the reverse thrust. Okay, 60 knots, release reverse thrust, there we go. Auto brakes are disarmed, so we can use our main brakes now. So put feet up on your, toes up on your brakes, and just both pressure together. If we do that together, we can bring it to a nice straight stop. Well done. Awesome. All right, well, I'm going to go throw us over to St. Martin's, and while I do that, if you can set up flaps 10 for me, and speed brake away, and set our auto brakes up to RTO. All right.
I don't know where those brakes are. Maybe my knees are jamming into this.
That's, yeah, if your knees are, if your shins are on the console, you're in the right position.
Oh. Yeah, because I can't seem to see those. Oh, they're all the way up there. Yeah, I wasn't hitting him because I couldn't. My knees were jamming.
They're hidden away so we don't put them on accidentally.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now what I'm going to do is actually put all the information into here. So all the information I put into the flight term management computer will set up all our instruments to St. Martin's. So St. Martin's ICAO, or the international code's TNCM, gives us a grid on the globe, a northwest grid. So we grab that, put it in our IRS, or our inertial reference system, so navigation system. And from here we're going to take off from St. Martin's on runway 10, and then we're going to come back and land on runway 10. You can see now that it's actually set the runways up on our screen there, and we'll activate that. And from there we'll put in some performance information. The aircraft zero fuel weight is 52.4 tonnes, and reserve we're going to carry 2 tonnes, so which is about an hour's reserve fuel. And cost index is a figure devised by the accountants of the company, and so how the aircraft is actually going to perform based on an accountant's figure. The circuit height we're going to go to is 3,000 feet. Transition altitude at St. Martin's is 5,000. It's actually 10,000 in Australia. And that's the where it changes from an area pressure to a standard pressure. And we're going to put an outside temperature of about 50 degrees. And thrust reduction, we're going to change from 1,500 to 1,000. That's that point where we will lower the nose to 10 degrees. And takeoff, we're going to be taking off with flaps 10 because we're going to be doing a short field takeoff. And with all that information put in, gives us a center of gravity of 5.3, which we can set on our trim here, so which is roughly around about 5.3 set. And again, with all that information, it gives us a V1 speed of 128, a rotation speed of 129, and a V2 speed of 141. The rotation speeds, when we pull back and start our climb out, V2 is our speed that we, if we suffer an engine failure, we're committed to the takeoff. If V1, if we do have an engine failure before 128 knots, we can reject the takeoff. Brakes will kick in and automatically as the part of our rejected takeoff, and bring the aircraft to a very solid stop before it runs out of runway. And with all that information in there, I can now put in a fix TNCM. We're not in Adelaide anymore, and that will give us a 7 mile and a 10 mile ring out from the airport, so a bit of a situational awareness for us, so we can work out where we are. And with all that information in there, we are certainly ready for our takeoff. All right, okay, so for this takeoff, we're going to steer ourselves onto the threshold. So like we did before, bring that up to 30%. Using the tiller, just follow the yellow line using that point on your console. Just small movements. And just remember the steering sort of behind us, so you've got to sort of keep following it all the way down. There we go, as much runway as you can possibly get. I'll just give it a bit more.
Oops, so this one.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Takes a bit of getting used to. Follow it around. When we get to about this point, do a full left lock. So full left down. And that'll keep it down. Keep it down. There we go. And coming up. Keep it down a bit more. And alright, so we'll just let it roll forward and straighten up a bit. Come forward a bit more. And left hand down now. And I'll just stop us about. That looks good enough. We don't want to run out of runway too much just yet. Just bring that onto the, there we go. Fantastic. All right, so as you can see, there's a big mountain in front of us, so we've got to get over that. You may have seen some of the videos on the St. Martin's or been to St. Martin's yourself and seen when obviously a large jet sort of does take off, they'll pretty much spool up the engines to full thrust at the threshold here, and then pretty much boomerang themselves onto the takeoff. So to do that, we're going to just set our park brake on. Just have our feet on the firmly on the brakes. So we'll both do that. We're going to spool up to 40% like we did before, and then we're going to engage reverse. Engage reverse thrust. No, just up to 40. Just up to 40. Yep. That's it. Hold that there. Yep. See that little line there? So you can use that as a prediction line. So if they bring that down, bring that backwards.
Oh,
we'll
sorry,
set up. Yeah. Bring that to 40. Let them spool up. Yep. Hold it there. That's beautiful. Okay. So just leave that there. Let it settle. Just make sure they both settle. Okay. So engage the thrust. That's it. It's engaged. Let it. Once more. Oh, we're not armed. That's why. Okay. Try that again. My bad. Alright, so it's going to give a few warnings and whatnot. Just going to wait until it goes full. Alright, so release park brake. Okay, release brakes. And let it. Okay, remember, steer with your feet. And when I call V1 rotate, it's important to get that up to 15 degrees straight away, because we don't want to be running into that mountain. Okay. And V1 rotate. Get that up to 15. Get rid of that flight director. There we go. Well done. Landing gear up straight away. Get rid of all the drag on the aircraft. Keep it at. Alright. Go straight to flat 5. Set our speed up, 230 knots. Well done. We're going to probably get a few little bells and whistles going over saying that we're close to terrain, but that's all right. We've pretty much cleared that. So we'll climb all the way to 3,000, like we did before, but we'll just keep holding that. There it is. Yep. Just telling us we're close to terrain. Beautiful. You come 3,000, level out 3,000, push forward, get it there. Needs a bit of pressure because we've got our flaps out. All right, we can start putting our flaps away now. We cleared that quite well, so well done. Excellent. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to make a right turn like we did before. Oops, there was our speed not decreasing there.
Bank angle.
Okay, I'll do a bit of a clean up while you're finishing that. Alright, if you want to switch the landing lights off for us as well there, we don't need those anymore. Calling up the VOR frequency for TNCM. Usually comes up on the display, but it's not there. TNCM VOR. Doing well there. Oops.
So you're landing over the top of the mountains.
So yeah, so what we'll be doing is actually coming around and landing over the beach. So like we did with the Adelaide.
Oh, sorry, of course, yeah. I was just, don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, you do. So we're going to fly over the top. You can see the airfield's just down to our right there.
Yeah.
I'm just
I'm like
getting.
entirely looking at this and not so much outside.
Yep, I'm going to say. So if you do look outside and use your instruments to just to confirm what you're looking at. All right, so you can see the airfield is there to our right there, and we're sort of we're going to fly out, and then we're going to come around and join in on the VOR as soon as I grab the VOR frequency. And the VOR is a nav aid on the ground, and we're going to use that to line ourselves up with it. There it is, 113. Okay. Doing well, just holding it all nice and steady for us while we get all that. 113, okay. There we go, now we've got a VO1. Alright, so I'm going to set this up to, and leave yours on there. VOR. There we go. All right. And inbound course is going to be 090. Rightio.
What exactly is this M? I've been following it, but I don't even know what it is.
That is a heading bug, but that's actually a good heading anyway. That's what I was saying is actually stuck at the moment. usually you can actually set that for us to follow. It's a command heading, and usually it is something you will follow. But that's good because that's actually about the right type of outbound track we want to go anyway, so that's close enough. Alright, so you can see down here I've set up a VOR, which is the ground aid next to the airport. It's a VHF omnidirectional radio range, otherwise known as a VOR. It gives us a DME, which is our distance and measurement equipment, so it tells us we're around about 8 miles away from the airfield. We're going to go out to about 10 miles. We're going to make a left turn and then intercept what we call a radial going into the airport, or onto the airfield. And at the moment we're in the map display. If I switch that over to VOR and change it to a 090, that there is then pointing towards where the airport is. That's our current heading. And what we're going to do is we're going to come around and intercept that and then follow that back towards the airport. Alright, so 10 miles, yep, starting to make a left turn there. Keep it at 3,000, don't lose our height. We're going to join a VOR approach and use that to bring us down to the airport. Doing well. You got the handling down well. And what we'll do is we're turning on the base. We'll start to slow down as well, so we'll decrease our speed to 200 knots now. Beautiful. And there we go. Okay, just level the wings there. Okay, I'm going to switch over to our VOR now. You want to be, say, yep, 180, so roll out on 180. There we go. So roll to the right, There we go. Hold that. Okay, so we're going to keep flying that heading until that pink, see what they call a CDI indicator, starts moving. There it goes there. So when that gets to about half scale, which is that first little circle there, we're going to start turning on to 090. So start turning, and about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start turning to the left. We're going to intercept that. Okay, so just watch your bank angle.
So,
yeah. Yeah. Don't worry, but keep us at 3,000 as well. Keep it coming around. If we overshoot it, that's right, we can come back to the other side. Okay, beautiful, coming around really nicely there. Excellent. So it tells us we're about 12 miles out. We just sort of overshot the VOR inbound, but that's all right. We can keep the nose up though. We don't want to descend, just lose our 3,000 just yet. So if we come around to around about 060, well, that'll bring us, and we'll intercept it again when that starts to come back the other way. Okay, so roll out there. 060, yep, roll out there. Just hold that. So we're flying towards, with a class flying towards the CDI. You can see it's starting to come back again. Now start turning on to 090 now. Okay, staying on to 090. That's it. Beautiful. Keep coming around. Keep running around to 090.
Bank angle, bank angle.
I found the other one much more easier to manage.
That's good, that's good. Yeah, you're coming around well. So there we go. All right, okay. So we're 8 miles out now, so we're pretty much on our top of descent. So if you want to start slowing down, so 180 knots, we'll go to flaps 5 straight away. I'll give you, yep, go for that. And we'll go landing gear down. All right, keep that down. We'll probably maybe a bit high, but we can make it. We can make it up. All right. Keep the nose down. Get the nose down.
Sorry.
That's it. Yeah, there we go. Fantastic. All right. We want to try to be around about. Keep it coming down though. Keep it coming down. You're right. Can you see the Pappy lights at the start of the runway now?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah, there.
So there we go. You can see that starting to line up now. All right. Want to keep it coming down. We want to try to be about 1,500 feet at 5 miles. And we're going to start slowing down more. So 150 knots. We're going to go 15 flaps. We'll get this back on profile. Doing well. About 1,200 at 4 miles. Okay, here we go. Pappy lights are coming in now. You can start just slowing down the descent now. So bring the nose back up. Start getting that speed down. Bring the nose up. Bit more. Bit more. Yeah, start slowing it down completely now. 3 miles. That's coming right. So come over to the left. You can see yourself lining up. We're going to go 138 speed, and we're going to go 40 flaps.
1,000.
All right. So set the speed brake. That's it. Beautiful. I'll set the auto brakes to max. There's that ballooning. Yeah, we got that profile back pretty well, so well done. Come over to the left a little bit. We don't want to try to. We're going to try to land on the piano keys, or the threshold in this. So, can you see the runway is not that long? You don't want to overshoot it. This is where they pretty much skim the top of the fence.
500.
Okay, just watch the rate of descent, so just raise your nose, that's it. Okay, that's it, a bit more, that's it, that's coming in nicely now. Just hold that, don't let it balloon up, don't let it balloon up. Keep that position all the way down, just make sure it stays on your windscreen.
Yep.
Like a fly splatter, just keep it coming down, don't let it move away. Alright, that's it, good. Okay, hands on the thrust, be ready for the 100-foot. Cool.
100.
There it goes. 100 foot. 50.
50.
Okay, all the way back. That's it.
30,
Beautiful. Let
20,
it come down. Let it come down.
10.
Let it come down. Level those wings. Okay, full thrust. Full reverse thrust, sorry. Okay, steer with your pedals.
Yeah.
You can let go of the yoke now.
Yeah.
It's not doing anything. Excellent. You can see the auto brakes, Max, brought us up to a nice stop. Reverse thrust and go off. Fantastic. Well done. All right. Okay, so we can clean it up. So flaps, so the speed brakes away. Flaps can go all the way to 0 again. And I'll turn our auto brakes off. We can taxi, just take the next taxi off to the apron. So 30%. Use your tiller now. And just follow the yellow line around onto the apron. Lot goes on, doesn't it?
Yep.
Did well. Handled it really well. Okay. Fantastic. Full left. Beautiful. I'll just follow that to the... try to get that yellow line lined up on there.
Oh, just
Yep.
on, right.
Alright, follow it around to the right. So full forward. Full forward, that's it. Okay. And we'll just follow it to the one that veers to the right there. Let's keep following that around. And left. Alright, now toes on the brakes, be ready to bring us to
a
it.
little bit closer.
To a stop. we're on. There we go. Alright, line us up and bring us to a nice stop. Okay. Beautiful.
That's
Brake
nice.
set. Well done. Alright, okay. So what we'll do is we'll do a bit of a shutdown. So all the lights are off, so we can start up our APU. It's our auxiliary power unit. So if you press that down, that's it. Once more, just press it down to the stops. There we go. So you'll see the oil pressure is indicated. The APU is starting. Once that's settled, there we go. APU bus is now on, so we can switch off the generators from the main engine onto the APU now. So for those two out and down, that's it. And the one next to it, beautiful, excellent. So the APU is now powering the aircraft. We'll take some of the power off the aircraft, so we can take off the yaw damper. We can turn off our window heat, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, those they can go up. Turn off our pitot heats, 1 and A and B, excellent. We'll set our bleed valve down to the APU, so you pull that one out and down. That one there,
Sorry.
yeah, APU, that's it. So that's the engines 1 and 2. Isolation valve can be open now, so out and down. Left pack can go off, out and up, and the right pack can go off. Recirculation fans can go off, up, that's it. Excellent. And we're pretty much ready for an engine shutdown. So to do our shutdown, we just engine the fuel shut off on engine 2, so we'll pull that out, down and in, out, down, in. Okay, engine 1's, engine 2 shutting down. Just monitor that. Okay, successful. Engine 1, so out, down, in. And beautiful. So the aircraft is now being powered by the auxiliary power unit. There's a little turbine sitting in the tail. You've probably seen all those before. Anti-collision can come off now, so we've because the engines are off, crew can now approach the aircraft. Well done. Congratulations. Cool. You did well. Did really well. How do you feel after all that?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's interesting. Like, I literally have a degree in aeronautical engineering. I spent all this time around planes.